we'll move from one grounded superhero to another. The Pig review, the movie Pig, which is available to stream
on Hulu.
On Hulu. An exiled chef, the one and only Nicolas Cage, turned truffle hunter, has his pig stolen by tweakers to help black market truffle dealers in Portland, Oregon. Along with his young companion, he tracks down his pig through the seedy underbelly of the Portland restaurant scene. So, Brenton, what did you think?
So, just reading our written summary of this film, it sounds preposterous.
Yes.
It sounds completely ridiculous. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is Nicolas Cage's best performance since he won an Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah. He's awesome in this movie.
This movie's excellent.
Yeah,
it's really excellent. The premise is completely ridiculous, as you just read. He's a chef turned hermit truffle hunter who sells his truffles or trades them, I suppose, and they're giving them to these 5-star restaurants in a very shady kind of way.
Yes.
And this pig is supposed to be his magic truffle finder, and it gets stolen by these meth heads and then given to somebody in the Portland, Oregon cooking scene. And then there's a fight club involved. And there's a very weird, not weird, but intense scene where he's completely chastising this restaurateur who wanted to open an Irish pub and instead opens a French cuisine place that serves truffle stuff. It's really hard to talk about this movie because all the entire premise and all the plot points are so absurd.
Right.
But the performances are excellent. Nicolas Cage's performance is excellent.
Yeah.
I can't state that enough. I mean, everybody knows my love. Everybody who's listened to this enough knows that I have an irrational love for Nicolas Cage, right? I love Nicolas Cage, but that's almost in a lot of ways a tongue-in-cheek sort of ha ha ha, Nicolas Cage, Ghost Rider, the hair scene in Con Air and all that shit. But when you get down to it, this guy won an Oscar. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he's been doing these kind of weird sort of indie movies now for the last 10 years, as we talked about last episode, because he's going to finally be in another studio film. And when it comes down to it, you know what I mean? He's a good actor. He's a good actor. He can be. He can be.
He does. Here's the thing: is Nick Cage is exactly whatever he needs to be.
Right.
So in this movie, he has to be a good actor. I mean, he's the lead in this movie. He's the only really recognizable person.
Right.
And he, like you said, there's more to it. We find out that his wife has died, and we find out that he knows how to find truffles without this pig.
Right.
And really, the pig is almost and not to sound in not a weird sense or anything, but the pig is a relationship that he had with his wife. Now he's just needs someone around, so he has this pig around because he says I love that pig. That's why I have it around. I don't have it around to find truffles. I can look at the trees.
Yeah.
And I can find the truffles. And and he has a couple speeches where you just the speech he gave the guy with the Irish pub guy. I mean, it was intense, but it was he's not yelling at anybody. He never goes, he never gets too intense about anything except when he finds out that, and when he has his friend and his friend's father is is the restaurateur guy that actually has the pig stolen for him for these truffles. Mm-hmm. And when he has that meeting with him where he makes the the
food
meal.
Yeah.
And that scene is just so powerful because he's like, they're all just kind of waiting and he's just like, eat it, like whatever, we don't need to break this down, we don't need to describe all this stuff. And it's like this elegant meal that he makes. But then you can see why he got out of it, and whether it was because his wife died or other things. The biggest thing I think from what I took away is he didn't like where the restaurant scene had gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to just make food to enjoy it, and that was it. It wasn't
Right.
supposed to be this thing that it turned into in Portland and other places, but it also is, in the weirdest sense, it is a love story, and he doesn't have his wife around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so now his only connection to this wife is this pig. And it's just the way he gets beat up at this fight club, and he just looks like that while he goes into this restaurant that's like impossible to get into. It's such a great scene. He just, like you said, I mean, I don't think there's too many actors, as great as there are out there, that could have done this movie and sold it like he did.
Yeah, I
really
agree. Yeah, it's
a great movie. And there's another movie that is called First Cow, and I didn't like it as much as I enjoyed this. Janie had actually liked First Cow more than this. But if you like Pig, I think most people would probably like First Cow too. It's kind of that same style about the animal being an important character and things. But yeah, this is, and I hope this does is I hope a movie like this brings Nick Cage back, not into like him doing ridiculous things, but maybe back into like another big enough movie where if he really wants to go after an Oscar. Like this movie, he's not going to get nominated for. It's just too little of a movie. I'd love to.
It's gone nominated for. It's nominated for and won like at some like indie movie festivals and stuff like that. I think like the Detroit or Chicago Film Festival, something like that. This is also a new director, and that was one of the awards that it did bring home. Was for nominee, Best Actor, Detroit Film Critics Society, Gotham Award nominee for Independent Film, Hollywood Critics Association, Best Actor, Best Independent Film, Best First Feature from the director. A French Film Festival nominated Best International Movie, which is funny to think of. National Board of Review USA Best Director, Top 10 Independent Film, Washington D.C. Area Film Critics Association Award, nominee Best Actor Nicolas Cage. So like this is no joke. Like this movie, like we said, despite the fact that the premise is absurd in a lot of ways. Like this movie's no joke. It's I would consider it maybe the indie darling of the year. There was talk when it came to theaters that he could be nominated for an Oscar for this. I don't think he ultimately will, but maybe because it's been kind of a weak year, there hasn't been as many releases.
I hope so.
I mean, probably not, I would say, but I do think that number one, this kind of puts him back on the map for people who see it. And number two is it's just a good movie. Alex Wolff plays his younger counterpart, Amir. He's probably most well known for playing one of the kids in the Jumanji movies before they go into the video game. And I think, he did an admirable job. It's short too. It's only probably about like an hour and 25 minutes, thereabout. Hour and a half, somewhere in there. It's pretty short. Like we said, it's on Hulu. Watch this movie. Yeah. Like it's really good. It's not action packed.
It's kind of an old school movie.
It is. It's an indie movie.
It's just actors acting. Yeah. And and that's cool. It's nice to see movies like that.
Yeah, it is. I was really impressed with this. I was really happy that we watched it.
Yeah, me too.
Very much so. But
recommend.
Definitely recommend the whole way around. If you have Hulu, check out Pig, starring Nicolas Cage.